Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast. And tomorrow, June 25th, Core Set 2021 hits Magic the Gathering Arena, and it'll be out in stores this weekend at pre-releases. So as you're playing Sealed and Draft, you might be wondering, how should I build my deck? Well, we built in 10 two-color pairs. Each two-color pair has a certain theme about it, a certain kind of style of play you should look for. And knowing what those styles are will help guide you as you're drafting the set. So today I'm gonna run down all 10 of them. Let's do it. First up, we've got blue-white. Blue-white is all about flying. You're going to use great flying creatures like Minstrel Singer, along with cards which give you a bonus for having flying creatures, like say Tide Skimmer, to get the job done. So next up is blue-black, and I'm really excited about this one. It's kind of a graveyardy, reanimate-y style deck. We haven't done this one many times before. You can do some self-mill on yourself to help use things like inventory to draw you extra cards, but the real exciting part to me is when you get to use a card like Rise Again on turn 5 and drop a huge creature onto the battlefield. Black-red is all about sacrificing things, and often these will be your creatures. You might use a card like Witch's Cauldron to sacrifice something, which then triggers your Havoc Jester, but also sometimes you might sacrifice their stuff using a card like Traitorous Greed, which makes it all the sweeter. Steal their creature and then sacrifice it. That's valid. Next up is red-green, and red-green is all about having 4 power. 4 is the magic number here. You want to get your creatures to 4 power to help trigger cards like Furious Rise and Drowsing Pteranodon to get your beatdown on. And as always with red-green, you just get to smash with some big creatures. Next up is green-white. Green-white is all about +1/+1 counters. It has tons of ways to put counters on its creatures and then reward you for doing so, with Tempered Veteran to let you grow your creatures that have counters even further. Or the great little cat, Pride Malkin, it'll make your +1/+1 counters matter and beat your opponent down. White-black is all about gaining life, and specifically increments of 3 life. If you can get over the 3 point of life gain threshold, you'll trigger all kinds of cards, like Griffin Airy, for example. Keep in mind that lifelink is a great way to get there on this one, so keep an eye out for those lifelink creatures. Black-green is about morbid, or having creatures die. A card like Sabertooth Mauler wants you to not just sacrifice stuff, but just have a creature die every single turn. If you can make sure that creatures go away, you'll get a bonus for it, which is kind of a sweet deal. Play big creatures and kill off their creatures for a bonus. I'm in. Moving on, green-blue is kind of a unique one. It's about drawing cards, and quite often specifically drawing your second card in a turn. So simply your first card will not do. You'll want to use card drawing effects to help trigger cards like Gnarled Sage and Tome Anima to get the most out of their effects. Fortunately, card drawing is usually pretty good, so you should be happy playing those cards anyway. Moving on to blue-red, blue-red is a classic. It's all about spells. So you'll be playing cards like Spellgorger Weird, and then wanting to play spells to help trigger them. Look for cheap cantrips like say Opt, for example, which will help you trigger it and still get a card out of the process. And finally, last, but certainly not least, is red-white. Red-white is all about going wide, putting a lot of creatures out on the table and then buffing them. And a lot of these cards happen to be dogs, which is pretty cool. You'll use a card like Bolt Hound to pump up all your other attacking creatures. But of course, it's not all about the dogs. There's some non-dog options too, like Warded Battlement, but all in all, you're gonna make a menagerie of creatures and then bash your opponents down. Now I'll note, these are all the 2-color combinations. But you can begin to see how if you do play 3 colors or run a splash, you might be able to combine some of these things in interesting ways. For example, the blue-red deck that plays non-creature spells wants all the cantrips to draw extra cards, so if you're blue-red-green, you're really going to look for spells that help you draw cards. Similarly, black-red is about sacrificing things, green-black is about having things die. Well hey, that goes really well together. So there's a lot of combinations here you can pull off that are beyond just the 2 colors, but this should get you started. Have fun playing the set on Arena. I know I'll see you there. And if you can pick up a pre-release pack from your local store, have a lot of fun with that too. In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it would mean a lot, or go check out my other videos. There's a lot of good stuff to go watch. I'll talk with you again on Friday, and in the meantime, may your limited pool have exactly the 2-color pair you want. You got this.